I was asked, like, do creators need brands or do brands need creators? And it's like, of course it's both.
Yeah.
But like, economically speaking, creators need brands. But then brands, of course, need creators to be relevant.
Right.
So the answer is symbiotic, but some of the like, brands need creators more than creators need brands. It's like,
hold on a second.
creators exist because of brands.
Right. Let's talk about your video strategy for a second. We all know the media landscape is incredibly fragmented right now. But one thing is absolutely certain. To win, you have to engage audiences on YouTube. It is the undisputed #1 streaming platform, and no video strategy is complete without it. But here's the challenge most brands face. YouTube often sits completely separated from the traditional television and streaming ad buys. That's why you need to check out Cadent View Planner. Cadent View Planner allows you to connect YouTube directly to your CTV and linear campaigns. Because they are an official YouTube partner, they bring advanced, contextual, creative, and outcomes-driven intelligence to your YouTube strategy and your total video strategy. Stop buying in silos. Connect YouTube to CTV and linear with Cadent View Planner and start driving real performance across every screen. Head over to cadent.com/YouTube-advertising to see how they can maximize your YouTube investments today. This week on Next to Media, I spoke with Jon Morgenstern. He's the EVP and head of investment at VaynerX. We shot this one live in Cannes at the thankfully AC PayPal studio, thanks to the PayPal ads team. Jon and I talked about the state of the TV upfronts, where YouTube fits, where some of the top creator studios are making a big play this year. We also talked about trying to plug YouTube data into traditional TV metrics and how clients think about TikTok versus CTV. Lots to get into, so let's get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Next to Media. I'm Mike Shields. We're live here at Cannes, and this is part of my special series with my partners at Cadent View Planner. I'm here with Jon Morgenstern. He is the EVP and head of investment at VaynerX.
Yes.
Hey, Jon. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're shaking the pot. I like
There's so much happening around here,
Yes.
so I'm impressed.
We are really, yeah. This is live. We're with this beautiful spot, the PayPal studio. Thanks to them. Let's talk about catch us up on like what's going on. Where you've got through a lot of the upfront period. I think last year I talked to one of your colleagues. It was almost like there were two upfronts. There was like the sports and then everything else. Is that kind of what things look like right now?
Honestly, in that world, yes. I would say Cannes itself has been, at least for me this year, us this year, less like upfront TV, live sports. Like, of course, everyone is here.
Yeah.
But more about like AI, creators, the awards, of course. But we're coming off the back of like a big push related to all those deals.
Yeah.
And then Cannes is kind of like the celebration of a lot of it coming to completion. Of course, there's always opportunities.
Yeah. Well, why don't you walk us through all the deals you've made and the dollar amounts, and we just go through that?
Roughly.
All right.
The Hugh Scallon, who we probably spoke to last time, shout out Hugh, is our head of video specifically. So as far as like the exact down to is it a quarterfinal or semi, pricing, all that is him. God bless him. But we handle the full upfronts.
Yeah.
And new fronts, but new fronts is less newer to us, pun intended, for several brands now. Obviously, there's like the Fortune 100 set that's kind of its own thing.
Yep.
But especially for like towards the Fortune 1000, like large challenger brands who haven't been on TV for like 60 years and might want to start more biddable, agile. That's where we're earlier too. So, I mean, Knicks, NBA, everything from at-a-home to, of course, NBA deal programming, which is already played out. There's still a glow from all of that.
Sure.
But live sports continues to have a ton of demand. NFL, NBA, World Cup, like it's all, I would say there's less of a new curveball for you on that. Netflix is here. I've heard really good things about their setup. Everyone judges each other's setups,
yes,
of course.
It's like high school.
Down to the swag.
Yeah.
Amazon is obviously doing a ton. This is my first Cannes, so I'm just pumped to be here.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's you got to do one before you actually know what
Exactly. So I've heard the briefing and the planning is prodigious, but as far as versus last year, we can get Hugh on form and we can give you more.
What you mentioned, creators, obviously they're out in force here.
Yeah.
With regards to YouTube, and there's like, I guess, there's not different pieces to that. Are we past the like, is YouTube TV or not? Or are you still fighting that fight? Or is that a fight you should fight?
I mean, depending on the brand, there's certainly the norms of, well, YouTube's in our video bucket, or, YouTube Shorts is in social.
Yeah.
Every brand kind of does that differently. I would say YouTube, there's a stat recently, like YouTube surpassed, I think, Netflix was in the trades last week about either time spent or total audience. And that definitely, YouTube folks know is like the connected full machine. They know they need to get there. It's really more like internal and agency, like steering of
organizations and
but it's like it's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It used to be like there's such a sleeping giant in terms of like remnant. So folks are more woken up to that, but there's still a lot of room to run in terms of the right sizing.
Yeah. What about as that's happening? You got a lot of some of these creators are mini media companies on themselves. They're becoming real studios.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are. Can they be true upfront players at this point?
It's so interesting because even when creators, these things can coexist. You know, Mr. Beast is obviously he has 500 million YouTube subscribers. Right. They have a very close relationship. Also, obviously, has an Amazon deal. He has his own platform, and everyone's happy. So that can work. Have also seen these, you know, any attempt to directly compete with a YouTube versus like or a Meta or an Amazon, at least these days, versus say, hey, they're this big and very important thing. But then over here, here's something that's personal and nuanced,
realistic.
That's good. But when it's like, give us all of it, that's where that's a little bit ambitious.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, and you hear some of that from the big creators, and you know they're still new to the media world, but like
they're figuring it out.
Let us just do everything, which I understand they know their audience is, but then that's tough for like brands just to hand it over.
Yeah, I mean it's more of a creators and their agencies versus agencies, let alone versus the Metas and YouTubes. But that's where that's great for us because we're an agency whose CEO is a 15 million TikTok follower creator. And
so you're bought in by nature.
Like creators are like all up at Shea Vayner at all times.
Right.
So we're good. And if they have a media company, we're very close with them. And there's, you know, mutual, like generosity and just like good faith. But, we have Kate, our own division for it. There's a lot of overlap, but we just always try to transparently present the options to clients, why it might black and white for their business make sense for us or platform native or a point solution player to inclusive of rate cards and pricing. Like we really run in that direction because we can't, you know, compete on principal buying.
That's irony.
Yeah, so not for now. Yeah.
What about, you mentioned that some clients put YouTube in different buckets. Yeah. How do you think in general, short form versus long form versus whatever's in the middle, like is a view on TikTok or Reels the same as television? Are you having those discussions or are those really different things?
I mean, it certainly can come up. Like the industry, I think is really trying to move beyond. A lot of people talk about this, like the ROI equation, you know, the Nielsen of old, effectiveness over efficiency.
Yeah.
We have been in this efficiency era, CPMs, you know, take rate reductions, you know, especially in CTV, like CPM starting on the high side and just going down, down, down. That seems to be kind of normalizing out. And we're now in the effectiveness. Both have always been in effect, but now it's like...
This is shifting.
Yeah, like let's stop looking at cost per point or cost per view. One, because a view is defined differently and all these sorts of different things. But two, you could have a unbelievable cost per view completion in programmatic that does nothing for your business because it was autoplay.
Somebody figured out how to run the numbers.
Yeah. Versus you can have a lot of people think organic social isn't scale. You know, large brands are like, well, organic social is cute, but like paid is scale.
I gotta push the money,
and it's like
to be real.
If organic social is true meritocracy, so a 20,000 impression organic reel could well drive 100 conversions for free versus spending 50 grand on 10 million impressions that got you 100 conversions.
Right, because
you know what I mean?
The audience engagement is different.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, this is where it goes. Maddie will start to be like, look at political. There are candidates winning, you know, Mayor Mamdani won with 1/1000th of the budget, ad budget. Like, you can't buy your way.
He's really good at that stuff. He's a content creator.
It was not about, literally, like, there was endless budget from the other side.
Right.
And it couldn't overtake. Of course, he ran ads, and the better your organic is, the better the PR is.
Sure.
but it's the same thing with answer engines, and everyone just wants to do paid search. Like,
Right.
I just want to pay to be top of ChatGPT, please.
Yeah.
It's like the hard thing, we're in the era of a lot of disruption, but also a lot of like, we're going to unfortunately have to do the hard actual thing.
Yeah. Which is, people want ease and speed, and it's not always like that.
Win in organic, win in the true gauntlet.
Right.
Like that, it's like, we get no views, there's no responses. Like, you should be getting better. I mean, Gary, if he was on this, would be much more aggressive. He'd be like, that's because you suck. You know what I mean? Like, there's a piece of content he has. You're losing. Yeah. But it's not like, let's abandon it and just pay to play. It's like, you're still running the same thing that the world, the algorithms, the consumer told you, like, nah.
Yeah, you're trying to force something that you're hoping is organic. How do you kind of hinted at this? You're trying to plug a lot of things in to measure. You want to have some measurement equivalency for all these pieces.
Yes.
That are TV like, but it seems very tricky.
Business as much as humanly possible versus a proxy.
Because can you put YouTube in the same bucket as television, and then creator stuff, and then equivalize it to some kind of reach and frequency thing, but then also figure out outcomes?
Yeah.
It seems very challenging.
Well, so yeah, I mean, there could be, and sometimes the aggregate budget adds up to more or less. Like YouTube being, ubiquitous. I was on a thing at Google, and they like talk about YouTube and give one word for what is YouTube, and I said ubiquitous. And then the next person said that was going to be my. I was like, sure,
It's a good one.
These days, more and more, it's definitely in this direction. YouTube CTV and YouTube TV can show up very competitively in that line item and in the currency of that realm in short form. Whereas, again, it's a different view definition, for the Metas and TikToks, and YouTube looking at either the more robust definition they use, view definition wise. They're very competitive, but even on like a cost per play, some of the TikTok stuff's good. It's more a question of, is there someone going into, Reach Planner and Google Central tools that can show you, by the way, here's that whole TV through shorts, through creators.
Yeah.
They have pulse reports, like they have the tooling. They're trying to push agencies, and we can always be better at this too. Like, you're doing all this fragmented, like, thank you for all the different line items, but actually, if you were to connect it all and look at it holistically, the better you're still underinvested.
Yeah.
And the tools are free. So there's work to be done there. There's more coverage of the different placements, but the orchestrated, deterministic, like, master plan, it's still much more in like probabilistic territory. But so many channels are.
Speaking of that, and you mentioned how it's complicated and there's more players here. If you want to do a big execution with a lot of creators at once, it seems like there's a lot of companies trying to help facilitate that. It doesn't seem easy, but you've got YouTube's trying to do it. You've got even like the CAs of the world, tech platforms.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Can you speed up and programmaticize those things, or is that never going to work?
That's been happening. Can it ever work is a funky one, because if you are trying to do it with AI creators that say AI generated, and you can create 100,000 influencers a second. Can you do it technically? Yes. Will that work with a consumer? Like, it'll probably blow up spectacularly.
Right.
On TikTok Shop, can you, through TikTok Affiliate Center natively with TikTok, or through their TikTok Shop app store? Like, you work with Yuka as one of the partners of, like, you can get to a lot of TikTok Shop creators, tens, hundreds, thousands using TikTok's tools. The most sophisticated, retail brands, challenger disruptors are doing hundreds of thousands. And that's for like these apps, just like Shopify has its app store. They're the platform, but these plugins add a lot of value.
Right.
The CAAs, like the rep folks, by definition, you can do like celebrities at scale, but the longer down the tail you go, the less they rep. Like micro
certain level, and then
it's more like, that's not us.
The needs are changing,
but like we have this huge person, so they are symbiotic to it.
That makes sense. You talked a lot about like the right sizing, and the numbers kind of show that there's a lot of room to grow. Can the creator economy absorb all the ad dollars that we're talking are being forecasted? Is it set up?
I would say one of my like canned observations for this year at least is it's a good year to come as a creator.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories, because Gary's a creator, we have like cool kids, shout out like Tyler Schmid, Nick Dio, who are creators and no creators coming by. Creators, took the gambit of buying a flight out here with no reason, brand reason to be here, with a lot of money for them. I'm hoping to make, and are like,
they don't have the corporate,
it's kind of what it was for agencies maybe 10 years ago of like, whoa. And now for agencies in ad tech, it's less of that, like frontier, but for creators. So go them, first of all.
Yeah.
We support that. But the more budget is going towards the actual end thing, not middleware, not production fees, not agency fees, not FTs for all of this esoteric. I come from this world, media buyer talent, like, may as well making that easier. So there's more dollars that are trying to be funneled to the content itself. Like, no, I want to pay for the video we're posting, not a copywriter. Or I want to pay for the impressions driving business value, not the DSP fee. So in that sense, creators are in a good spot, but they have to perform. Where it gets dicey is when it's a fine line between, don't tell me what to do, I know my audience and make better content. And like, we'll do whatever I want. And like, I don't know what this KPI means.
Squaring that with outcomes driven.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, on the one hand, they're like, I don't just want to be a affiliate race to the bottom, like QVC seller. Of course, which I get totally. I wouldn't do it either. On the other hand, it's like the days of, we'll give you a 6-figure deal just to post, like, no accountability, like you don't even feel any pressure to.
It's like, the brief, I'm going to do it my way.
And they're just like, you're lucky to have my content. And I was just like, I was asked, like, do creators need brands or do brands need creators? And it's like, of course it's both. But like, hot take, I was in the economics major. Economically speaking, creators need brands. It's like, unless creators become brands, it's like, so it needs to be funded, but then brands of course need creators to be relevant. So the answer is symbiotic, but some of the like brands need creators more than creators need brands. It's like,
hold on a second.
Creators exist because of brands.
Lastly, and I don't know if you're gonna have an answer to this right now, but like, we're in this outcomes attribution and like mania. Has anybody figured out how to evaluate if Creator X does something awesome and you get a lot of virality, but I don't know what it did for me.
There are there's a lot of ad tech companies here that have claims of, attribution, perfect, organic, paid, microscopic. This is where it took me, when I joined Vayner, I'm in Vayner 11 years, I was much more in the camp of like multi-touch attribution, MMM, like class marketing science, where it's just like, you just start marketers talking to marketers and you're just so lost. There's so many signs here that like, we have the attention. It's like marketers' attention. No consumer on earth has heard of, like, you know what I mean? Hypothetical name. So like, what do you mean attention? But Gary, he always has like, if I were to name the agency today, it would be X. And it's always like a different thing. But at one point recently, it would be like common sense. We're your common sense AOR. And he meant when a creator, I'm trying to give you an example of one where it's like when a creator or just UGC, some rando, posts something that's about a brand that drives sales, you don't need a magnifying glass or a microscope. It is obvious. It is very obvious. Simple. We live this for Gary with his family business, online library. Gary's whole model is like, he lives the thing. He is a creator. He dog foods everything in his own world. Smoking gun proves it's a thing. Despite people think he has a lot of bravado, he's actually really conservative. Everything he talks about, we have like really validated on business. I say that because we just see this. It's just laughably obvious. Wine Text is they are the subscription service. They might get a couple dozen organic signups per day. I run these ads personally because we're all about practitionership. His dad is the hardest media client I've ever had in my life, because you say MMM, he's like, you're trying to trick me.
He knows too much.
Like, it has to be super simple. That's day to day. And then you're like, okay, we're at 120 just this morning. Gary must have posted.
Right.
And that's what happens.
It's like an attribution model will tell you that. Like you can,
and yet the luxury of it is it's simple when you're huge.
Yeah.
And so much media activity is going on. We have an organic, it got 2 million views. Signal through the noise, still tough. But what we're trying to really push a lot of our Fortune 100 scale marketer is like, you should be questioning more. It's like, that's so much of the kind of just always on inertia, programmatic, or a lot of your media. Like you've been convinced that it's like, well, we don't feel it at all in the business, but like it definitely matters a lot. It's like, have you turned it off in full and seen your visit drop?
Yeah.
Like that's where we're starting to be increasingly tenacious or confrontational. For a long time, like through the Gary ethos of like being really safe, we weren't deep in programmatic or CTV. And so when we would hear like, well, CTV just works, we were like, all right, we don't want to, like make a hot take and then just get shown like smoking gun.
Yeah.
And we're like,
right.
Oof. Fast forward 5 years, I'm like, still waiting for the smoking gun.
Right.
Like still waiting for, show me one brand that's like, we are enormous, we got acquired, and we built ourselves entirely off the back of programmatic.
Yeah. See, we did.
It's like, it's social 100% of it. 100.
Right.
Sure, sometimes we're killers at search data, but it's like search and email. It is never like
random long tail thing.
It can become, now we use CTV at some scale and it's like where it's cooking incrementally.
Yeah.
So, and we now run enough and are scrutinous enough where it's now like, Gary says this too, the industry's at a 1, I come in at a 10, expecting it to land at a 4.
Yeah.
So man, I'm channeling a little bit of that. When we say like, turn it off, and we're very specific, like specifically programmatic, OLV and display broadly. Mm-hmm. We're not saying turn off like your Super Bowl ad or like your great 3A deal.
Right.
Turn off. And they're like, well, that's $40 million, and it's like, it's like turn it off. It's like, yeah, then it should have a really big impact when you turn it off.
You should feel it. Yeah.
And then like, but turn it off, and then they're like, no, and understandably, but they're like, we'll cut 10, and I'm like, cool, that just funded, and then they cut 10. Nothing bad happens whatsoever.
And you do more.
And then they fund this entire, like a $10 million scope. Because you're like, whoa, layer and layer. It's like funded.
Right.
And of course, the bigger and more complex and global a brand is, the more of that exists.
Yeah.
And the brands are on this already, but they come to agencies to be like, they're like, I think it's this, but like, they want us to push them and want that confirmation. So they often need that kind of push. And that's where a lot of the, that's where Vayner's just, I really do think unique, where Gary, he truly wants to know. Like, I'll say to him, I mean, what if what if it drops? He's like, it'll be fascinating.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, oh, that'll be
it'll be smarter for it.
And he's like, that's so much more valuable than just living in this gray of like,
right.
When you ask anyone if they've seen it or if this medium matters at all to them, no one says, I see banner ads and like, I drop everything.
Right.
But because always, let's keep doing it. But I have so much empathy for brand side marketers that like, there's a lot of like the risk versus reward incentives just aren't often, they're getting better now because of disruption and necessity is the mother of all invention. But I would do the same if I were them. Like, I don't want to do that. I just got here.
Yeah.
So respect.
All right, we got to leave it there, Jon. Awesome conversation. Love this stuff. And let's do this again sometime.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks again to my guest this week, VaynerX's Jon Morgenstern, and my partners at Cated View Planner. If you like this episode, please take a moment to rate and leave a review. We have lots more to bring you, so please hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time for more on What's Next in Media. Thanks for listening.